Hi, I'm Jason Horsch, owner of Xanadu Gallery in Scottsdale and Pine Top, Arizona, and this is Ask a Gallery Owner. Today's question comes from Grace in New Jersey, and she asks, in researching galleries, I noticed some galleries represent hundreds of artists, literally 25 with the last name starting with an A, and do it through the alphabet. Are they galleries that just have your images on file for people to peruse? What is your take or experience with galleries such as these? Um, yes, Grace. I also have noted this, that there are some both online and physical galleries that have an incredibly long roster of artists. And you're right, it's something to consider as you're thinking about working with a gallery. How many artists are they representing? And there are a couple ways we could think about that. If it is a physical gallery, there are going to be some limitations in terms of physical space available. If they have 1,000 linear feet of display space and several thousand square feet of floor space for pedestals and that kind of thing, and they're representing 2,000 artists, well, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out that they're not going to be able to display work by all of those artists, let alone multiple works by each of those artists. And so why are they doing this? Well, you're right. Some galleries, in addition to their stable of artists that are on display in the gallery, like to have a deeper catalog of artists that they can draw from. Perhaps they do work with interior designers or institutional clients, and it's helpful to then have a deep back catalog of artwork that you can draw from for particular projects, to be able to propose a wider range of work. And so would a long roster of artists disqualify a gallery from being considered for representation if you're looking for gallery representation? Well, it shouldn't. That gallery might become a resource for you to reach some additional collectors and make some additional sales. Now, if your goal is to both be represented by and actively show in a gallery, then you're going to want to be looking for galleries with a shorter list of artists. My galleries are representing between 25 and 35, 40 artists. And that we just know that that's kind of a hard limit to the number of artists we can effectively represent in our gallery spaces. And that gives us the ability to rotate some art through, but to strive to give each artist that we're representing some space and exposure. And that would be what you'd want if that's what you're looking for. There's no reason that you can't do both, have galleries that are displaying your work physically in their gallery spaces and then also holding you in their catalog as a resource. Now, for online galleries where physical space is not a factor, then you can see online venues showing thousands and even tens of thousands of artists online. And again, you don't necessarily have anything to lose by showing with these galleries other than perhaps the time that it takes to upload and attempt to promote your work there. But now it's not an issue of physical space, it's an issue of drawing attention to your work. And my question would be, with so many artists represented, what's the likelihood that I'm going to have qualified buyers see my work and have an opportunity to make a purchase? In a sense, you're diluting the attention that visitors to the website can give to any individual artist. And of course, the counterpoint to that is, well, if this online art venue can draw more visitors so that you now have millions of visitors looking at tens of thousands of artists, that can certainly help. But the ratio is always going to be a little bit challenging, and I would think of those online venues certainly not as a primary avenue for generating sales for you, but as a supplementary source to bring in some additional exposure and potentially some sales over time, though it's likely those sales are going to be limited. This is a good question. This is something you're certainly going to want to look at as you're considering working with a new venue. How many artists are they representing? How much space do they have, or how much website traffic are they generating? And what will that mean to my efforts to expose and potentially sell my work in that particular venue. And ultimately, the more exposure you can get as an artist, the more likely you are to attract buyers. So as I said, I wouldn't necessarily, create a rule set that just automatically disqualifies a lot of those venues, but I would just want to be working steadily towards getting exposure in as many different venues as I possibly can to start generating sales. So I hope that's helpful. If you have additional questions or additional discussion you'd like to have about the number of artists in a particular gallery, leave a comment in the comments section. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or red.blog to get updates of future Q&A sessions, Ask Me Anything, and Ask a Gallery Owner sessions. Thanks for joining me. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.